Hello ITPC, Joshua Stewart, Pipe Up North. This is actually going to be take 2 of this video. Had a couple of interruptions and pauses and it just got a little, I don't know, choppy. So I wasn't too far into it before I had to quit and try again. But we got Mittens back up on the lap again. Say hi, kitty. So anyway, today is kind of a first impressions. Baren HH, Pure Virginia. Kind of figured that since I've been on a Virginia kick the last couple of weeks, I'd give that one a try. Had some Sam Gawith Full Virginia yesterday. This is my first pipe of the day today. But my taste might be just a little bit distorted because just got done with supper about 5 or 10 minutes ago and had some barbecue pizza, and the barbecue sauce was a little spicy, which is good. You know, my Scandinavian palate doesn't like really spicy stuff, but the spicy barbecue sauce was pretty good. Okay, good, Mittens, you're down. I got room to move again. So anyway, Baren HH, Pure Virginia. When I cracked the tin, very much the hay notes. But this tin, I bought it, it was last February. So February of 2024. And the tin date, or the package date, or whatever it is actually November of 2022. So it's got about 2 years of age on it. Now, a lot of people have compared this HH Pure Virginia to Capstan Blue, and I actually bought them both at the same time, the tins that I got. With the intent on trying them side by side. In fact, that video, my first impressions of Capstan Blue, that one's, for me, has quite a few videos, or quite a few views, sorry about that. So, yeah, my taste buds are still tasting that spicy barbecue sauce. So, my beverage of choice this evening, Grain Belt Premium. Now, this is kind of the quintessential Minnesota beer that's still made in Minnesota. Now, there's, I'm sure, dozens, maybe hundreds of small breweries in Minnesota yet, but when you think of Minnesota beers, you had Grain Belt, Hams, and Schmidt. Back in the day, in Minneapolis, St. Paul, they were right up there with Milwaukee and St. Louis for beer brewing towns. But a lot of them, you know, went under or got bought up and phased out, or I think they still make Hams, but I don't know. I've only had it a couple of times and not a fan. But this Grain Belt, that's pretty good stuff. and for it's American lager. You know, if you like the real dark European style beers, you're probably not going to like it. But yeah, so I've been to the brewery on a tour here a few years ago. Very interesting. Um, back when I was a kid, every small town you drove through had a grain belt sign in front of the bar in town. So it was probably the top Minnesota beer back in the day. And when I was a young adult and figuring out what I liked and what I didn't, I kind of had in my mind that I was gonna like the high end stuff. We were at a company party. Well, company was a business. There was the owner and about 8 or 10 employees. That's what consisted of the company. And so the boss was going to have a party, and he just asked everybody their requests for beer. And there was one coworker of mine that grew up out in the middle of the boondocks in North Dakota on a cattle ranch. He said, "Oh, get some Grain Belt Premium." And I'm like, that's what all the poor farmers used to drink in the 60s. What do we want that for? It's good stuff. You'll like it. So the boss, he brought a case of the Grain Belt along with all the usual, at that time, I think it was Bud Light and Busch Light, and I don't remember what else was popular at the time. So I tried a bottle of this Grain Belt Premium, and by God, it wasn't too bad. So, and I've still been trying to kind of want to be a beer snob and have, how would you say, the high end craft beers and stuff like that. But I always keep going back to the old Grain Belt. I guess you could say it's the codger of beers. So as long as we're talking about that, I know it's kind of more of a regional beer. So I'm wondering if you guys that watch it, let's have a little contest. Who's the furthest away whose local liquor store stocks Grain Belt Premium on a regular basis? I don't know what we have for a prize, a shout out, bragging rights. I don't know. I'm not going to do anything too great, but just my own curiosity more than anything. We were on vacation in the Black Hills of South Dakota last summer, and of course that was right the week before Sturgis, and every liquor store we went to was all sold out. They did usually stock it, but they couldn't keep it in stock. So that's on the west side of South Dakota. So I don't know if it's in national distribution or if it's still, like I say, just a more of a regional thing. Maybe those, we'll call them the codger beers, like the old Grain Belt. Kind of like the old codger tobaccos that, it's like if I don't know what I want, You can't go wrong with one of the old codgers hardly. I've been, since I got that tub of Carter Hall, I've been hitting that pretty heavy. Probably averaging a bowl a day of that stuff. Some days I'll have 2 or 3 bowls, and sometimes I'll go a couple days without one. But that one's kind of become, the Carter Hall has kind of become my commute to work blend, I would say. If I pack a pipe in the morning when I leave, get about halfway through the bowl by the time I get to work. And then on the way home, I finish it up, which works out pretty well. Just in one of my corn cobs. And works out pretty well. I did get a tub of Prince Albert here the other day too. So we'll maybe crack that open on Tobacco Tin Tuesday. Now, all the Prince Albert that I've had up to this point has been samples that were, either traded or gifted. That I don't know how old they were or how well they were stored or anything. So this will be my first, how would we call it, fresh sample. And I think it's been sitting in the store for a while because there's a pretty thick layer of dust on top. But so I'm about 10 minutes into it, 15, whatever we are. Impressions of HH Pure Virginia. Very similar to the Capstan Blue. I'm sure there's differences, but I wouldn't know it until I had them side by side. Doesn't seem to want to bite or anything, which, the straight Virginias, they can, or so I've heard, can tend to bite. But in this Omega, I've got a half of a paper filter in the stem. And then, just as an experiment, took a couple little chunks of activated carbon out of an aquarium filter and just kind of dropped them in the well in here. And it seems to help. So HH Pure Virginia, considering it's, 20%, 25% less expensive than Capstan Blue. And like I say, maybe side by side, although this does have 2 years of age on it too. The Capstan Blue is less than 1. But this is one worth keeping at least a few tins in the cellar. Yeah. So I broke up a full flake for this, and I wasn't able to quite fit the whole flake in. Probably got about 80-85% of the flake in here. Nick hit is, to me, which I'm fairly sensitive to the nicotine, not really noticing anything major yet at this point. But I'm not very deep into it either. I still got a little bit of that kind of spicy barbecue on my tongue from supper. Oh, kind of going on with the old grain belt. Couple weeks after I kind of found out that I like it, I bought a 12 pack or two here or there. And we were back at my wife's family for 4th of July one year. Brought out my 12 pack of grain belt premium in bottles and told my father-in-law, here, have a try. You ever had it? He said, well, probably not since the 60s, back in the day when that's about all there was. So here, try it. He did, and he said, my God, that's not too bad. And so that was in the late 90s. I don't think he's had anything else since. That's his go-to, and now he's kind of got some of the old grain belt collectibles in his office hanging on the wall. You ask anybody what his beer is, oh, he's the guy that drinks grain belt. But yeah, on the other end of it too, and this isn't an advertisement by any means, just me sharing what's rolling around in my head. Although if somebody from Grain Belt wants to do a sponsorship opportunity, hit me up. Anyway, where was I going then? Things rattle around and things fall out and they get lost. But, oh yeah. Say, some of my reasoning too is it's the grain belt isn't owned by some monstrous corporation. Like even Hams is, I think, a subsidiary of a subsidiary of a subsidiary of, what is it, Miller, Coors, whatever the big conglomerate beer companies are now these days. And the grain belt is still, it's owned by Shell Brewing, which has been basically family owned since the Civil War era. That's a Minnesota brewery. But so, and they, as far as I know, keep their nose out of politics other than reasonable things for their business, as far as, you know, stupid laws for taxation and whatever else there may be. But so anyway, I think that's all I'm going to say about that, other than, like I say, just out of curiosity, if see who's got the furthest away that it's stocked in their local store. Well, I'm gonna just put you on pause for a little bit. I'm gonna smoke down here a little bit. I'm guessing I got at least 20 minutes here of contemplation and enjoyment, and I'll come back with some final thoughts. So hold tight. Okay, I'm back, kind of, we'll call it mid-bowl. Now, part of this is why I brought you back. I got a new phone that I'm recording off of, so we'll see how it works. I don't like it because it's too big. I usually wear my phone. In fact, here's my old phone. Had it since 2018, and it served me well. It fits in my pocket pretty good. It sticks out the top a little bit, but this new one is a full inch taller. In fact, here's my daughter's version of the same phone that I was using for a little while. Oh yeah. This is burning so good, and as soon as I start talking, lost it. So mid-bowl report, yeah, I'm smooth and what do you say, very Virginia-y. Which, when I first tried the Capstan Blue, I didn't really give it a glowing report because, I don't know, I was maybe expecting something a little different. But as I've maybe readjusted my mind with what to expect, I like it. And say this HH Pure Virginia is similar. And as similar as it is for, you say, a lower price, this is probably what's going in the cellar. In fact, that's part of the reason why I cracked this tin open, is because shopping cart at one of the online retailers, I got a tin of the HH Pure Virginia in my shopping cart, and so wanted to make sure I liked it before I bought another tin or two. In fact, I should probably almost get two. And of course, when I buy it a week later, it's going to be on sale for like 25% off, but oh well. So now we're running long, but I'm going to pause you a little bit more until we get to the end here. All right, I'm not quite finished with it yet, but I'm probably about 3/4 the way down. So I probably might as well finish it up here. Yeah, flavor, I guess, stayed fairly consistent all the way down. Except when I was talking too much, it stayed lit pretty well. Yeah, then I talk a little bit again and it goes out. I'm getting just a little bit of irritation on the back of my throat. Nothing to be concerned about. So yeah, final thoughts. Yeah, I'll definitely be keeping a couple of tins in the cellar. Say, I'm sure there's differences that I could pick up side by side between this Capstan Blue and the Sam Gawith Full Virginia Flake, but this is one that's always available for a decent price, so that's probably what I'll be selling. Well, decent price compared to the Capstan Blue and similar to the Sam Gawith, but easier to get because the Sam Gawith stuff seems like there's only a couple of drops a year, and if you don't happen to catch it within a few days of when it drops, it might be SOL. Then before I go, I may just have to ask for some prayers for all of you that are the praying type. My aunt passed away the other day. Um, pray for her kids. Oh, somebody's calling me. But hope that wasn't too annoying. I'm still learning with the new phone camera, whatever. But anyway, we got my three of my cousins that are her kids are the survivors, and then several grandkids and stuff. But she was in her upper 70s, been a cigarette smoker since she was a teenager, and it was the COPD that got her. So if there's any kids watching, don't smoke cigarettes. But I got a chance to visit with her a couple of weeks ago, and she was still sharp in her mind and stuff, and thrilled to see us. And we were at their house all the time growing up. So like I say, if you're the praying type for, well, my dad, it's his only sister, and the other surviving siblings, and the surviving kids and grandkids and everybody. So with that, I'll try to get this done before it hits 30 minutes. We're way too long, but it's kind of a fun one to do with a blend that I like. So with that, I'll let you go. This is Joshua Stewart, Pipe Up North. Have a good day.